A congressional candidate in Montana has now been charged with misdemeanor assault after he got physical with a reporter from The Guardian. Now, this is Greg Gianforte, who is running in the special election in Montana. And apparently, during a campaign event, he was approached by Ben Jacobs, who is a reporter at The Guardian, who simply wanted to ask a few questions about the Congressional Budget Office's analysis of the Affordable Care Act's replacement.
Asking for the score, and Gianforte had said for some time, because he was trying to avoid it, obviously, we all know that, I'll wait to give you my reaction to the Trump healthcare bill,
right?
Until I get the CBO score. And here we are on the day before the election. They had the CBO score, so Ben Jacobs thought, okay, we have the score, now we need to react.
So Ben Jacobs does what a journalist is supposed to do. He goes up to this congressional candidate, for this special election in Montana and asks him, all right, now that we know this analysis, now that we know how much this is gonna cost, and that now that we know that 23 million Americans are expected to be uninsured under Trump's Affordable Care Act replacement, what do you think? And Gianforte didn't want to answer the question. So he was approached by The Guardian's Ben Jacobs, who put a voice recorder to Gianforte's face and began asking if he had a response to the newly released Congressional Budget Office report on the American Health Care Act, the Republican replacement for the Affordable Care Act. Now, this is reporting by Alicia Acuna, who is from Fox News. She was there compiling data for Bret Baier's show, right?
There's a whole Fox News crew there about to do a piece. That's why the candidate was in one place and could be approached.
Right, that's exactly
Ben Jacobs took advantage of that situation, again,
the way that a
before the
journalist
election.
is supposed to, right? So I'm giving you that context before I play the video, not the video, the audio of what happened. I will explain to you what happened physically based on the account of the Fox News staff that was there and witnessed it. But before that, let's take a listen and we'll come right back.
We'll talk to you about that later.
Yeah, but there's not going to be time. I'm just curious if you have the
speak
right
with
now.
Shane, please.
But you don't.
Sick and tired of you guys. The last guy that came here, you did the same thing. Get the hell out of here. Jesus. Get the hell out of here. The last guy did the same thing. You were the Guardian?
Yes, and you just broke my glasses.
The last guy did the same damn thing.
You just body slammed me and broke my glasses.
Get the hell out of here.
If you'd like me to get the hell out there, I'd also like to call the police. Can I get you guys' names?
Hey, you gotta leave.
He just body slammed me.
You gotta leave.
Okay, so let me fill in the blanks for you. Alicia Acuna, again from Fox News, wrote about this, and here's what she had to say. Gianforte told him he would get back to him later. Jacobs persisted with his question. Gianforte told him to talk to his press guy, Shane Scanlon. At that point, Gianforte grabbed Jacobs by the neck with both hands and slammed him into the ground behind him. Acuna and her crew watched in disbelief as Gianforte then began punching the reporter. As Gianforte moved on top of Jacobs, he began yelling something to the effect of, "I'm sick and tired of this." So again, here are people from Fox News who witnessed what happened, and they are essentially reinforcing Jacobs' account of what occurred. And it's just straight up assault. It's assault, and as a result, he has been charged with misdemeanor assault, but there's some drama regarding that charge as well. I'll get to that in a second.
You know, it's funny, you just took us through an explanation of what happened, and it's the world we live in. I would have done the exact same thing. But it's like we have to say, look, the Fox News person even said it was true.
Right.
The fact is, there's no reason to dispute. The audio says it's true. He said, Gianforte said, talk to my press guy, Shane Scanlon. There was an indistinguishable amount of time between finishing the name Scanlon and the beginning of violence.
Right.
So he went, talked to my guy, Shane Scanlon, and just grabbed him and choked him. Many conservatives, some, more than one conservative that I read on Twitter last night said, hey, politics aside, I know Ben Jacobs. If Ben Jacobs said this happened, it happened. They're like, he's a good reporter. We know each other. So there's no disputing what happened, but we still feel the need to describe, and obviously part of our job is telling what happened, but it's like we have to get people past this moment of disbelief that we're seeing in the world on Twitter, which is, here's another liberal reporter sort of instigating it. Some of it's even in the Fox News description to me, like, put the recorder in his face. You can put it in his face, it's a tape recorder, you put it near the mouth of the subject. It's not
what do you mean? You take the tape recorder and you put it in a closet in another room. Right. That's how you
This
get
is
the audio.
almost certainly what he did.
Yeah.
And his persistence was saying, oh, there won't be time for that because today is the last day of voting. There's no time to get your opinion later. The story's happening now. This is the biggest single domestic issue in this election. You said you'd react to it after this event happened.
Right.
This event happened, it's now. Right. It's right now, this is your reaction. I mean, Ben Jacobs did nothing wrong and 100% right.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting that, Gianforte is saying, I'm tired of this.
Tired
of started.
What? Yeah, you haven't started. Thank you. Great point.
If you are elected, this is going to be this times 10. So you are, you're showing that you're not ready for this position, right?
You're
if this
not
is
ready.
your reaction before day one, you can't do this.
You're not ready, and you don't actually value constitutional rights. You don't value freedom of press. You don't respect reporters. In fact, there was an incident prior to this where someone in an audience during an event had said, the media is our number1 enemy. What should we do about him? That guy was apparently sitting next to a reporter, and I want to keep calling him Giancarlo. Gianforte pointed to the reporter and said something to the effect of, well, there's one of them, trying to make a joke or trying to pass it off as a joke. But now you look back at that situation and you realize, oh no, that wasn't really a joke. He really thinks of journalists as the enemy. And guess what? You have to answer questions. You're running for office, you have to answer questions. Running and hiding from reporters and then assaulting them if you don't like the type of questioning that they're giving you is just unacceptable. I mean, we're all the free speech people. We're all the people who are like, I'm a constitutionalist. I care about the Constitution. No, you don't. You care about the Constitution whenever it's convenient for you. But if anyone uses their constitutional rights, in this case, to do their job, and you don't like the way they're doing their job, then apparently it's okay to assault them.
I will say that in defense of a number of conservatives, there were plenty. Not Paul Ryan, I thought was weak today, saying the guy should apologize, but he was super tepid about it. But at least on Twitter, some of the conservatives who I follow or who get retweeted by people I follow were like, hey man, you got to go to jail. The reporter did nothing wrong.
Well, he's unlikely to go to jail. He has been cited for misdemeanor assault. And so the local sheriff said, this doesn't really fall under the category of felony assault, right? But then we find out that the sheriff has some ties to Gianforte. So the sheriff, Brian Goodkin, noted in response to questions that he had made a $250 contribution to Gianforte's campaign. This contribution has nothing to do with our investigation, which is now complete, he said. Okay, I'm sure it has nothing to do with your investigation whatsoever. By the way, 2 major newspapers,
three now.
Oh, 3 now, have dropped their endorsement of Gianforte. The 2 that earlier had done so were the Missoulian and the Billings Gazette. They issued scathing denunciations of Gianforte.
Yeah, a third paper did today.
Unfortunately, most votes have already been cast, right? So he still very well may be elected, and I think it would be great if more Republicans would come forward and denounce this behavior, because as many as on Twitter have said something, not enough have come forward and said, I mean, I don't know how this has become a partisan issue. Right, if you body slam a reporter, that's just universally wrong.
And punch him.
And punch him.
Yeah.
Right, if we compare this to the United incident, right, where there was so much outrage about an assault, but somehow now it's a liberal reporter and there are questions.
And by the way, I mean, Gianforte didn't even know who that reporter was, right? And so how would he know what Jacobs' political leanings are? How would he know what his ideology is? He just didn't want to answer any questions because I guess that question was too difficult for him to answer.
Yeah, I don't know whether liberal or not. I mean, he writes for The Guardian, but Gianforte knows that somebody pestering you about the score, the CBO score of the new healthcare bill is eager to point out that the healthcare bill is a disaster and that it will affect Montanans in a very specific way.
Right.
And he didn't want to answer those questions because he has sidestepped it for as long as he possibly could. Nothing beats your line about I'm sick and tired of this. You're having this turn. It's like a draft pick at the NFL draft, being like, I'm tired of this tackling, man. Yeah, right. I'm out. I can't take any more of this. It's really great. I was listening to the radio today. Listening to POTUS radio on Sirius, which I listen to a lot, and it's good. It brings in especially the journalism show, the media room. I can't remember what the hell it's called.
Not as good as Progress, though.
Julia, no, that's right. But if during the day before we come on, you want to listen to a Julie Mason show, but it's a great idea of what the establishment is saying. I don't say that with much in a disparaging way, but it is. Because here's what everyone there expects: that Gianforte is still going to win. And the fact that 75% of the votes were cast before this. Democrats will need a significant turn. The theory, and nobody really knows in Montana, really hard to track because you don't vote by party ID in primary, so you can just come in, you just vote.
Yeah.
But they think that Gianforte, the way to beat him will be with a significant turnout on election day, which I guess is today, for Rob Quist.
Well, also keep in mind though, if you're inclined to vote for someone like Gianforte, his opponent, Rob Quist, he's like the polar opposite, right? He's like a huge Bernie supporter, folk music performer type guy. I mean, like he has NPR written all over him.
Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't even think Gianforte plays the banjo, which is, I think, could really swing this thing. All right.
Okay, but anyway, I'm not saying anything negative about Quist. I'm just saying in a race where he's against Gianforte, they couldn't be more different. So I feel like if someone is inclined to vote for Gianforte, I don't think this incident would somehow convince them, oh, maybe Quist is a better option.
If you're a member of the Young Turks, you not only get the whole 2-hour Young Turks show on demand anytime you want, ad-free, but you also get so many other shows. Old School, you'll love it. Aggressive Progressive for guys who are true progressives. Now also Nerd Alert for gaming and tech. What to Flick for movie reviews. You will love it. Check it out right now at tytnetwork.com/join.